Welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, June 3rd, 2017. It's Season 11, Episode 21. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
And that's all. Matt couldn't make it. And James was talking about coming back, but he couldn't make it either. So me and RJ today, I think we're going to have the full crew in here next week. Okay. I say the full crew. Full crew minus Nate. I think we'll be in here next week.
Or a full house. Which one would be?
Yeah, I don't know. Nate can make it too. I haven't talked to him in a while, so I'm not sure. He might be able to. But it's E3 week next week.
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, like the next two shows, next Saturday show and the one that follows that will be like E3 centric.
Yeah.
You know, normally I would use next weekend to kind of chat up the E3 goodness, but right before our show, EA has their E3 presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have that to talk about, and then of course we'll have speculation on what Microsoft will do on Sunday, what Bethesda will do on Sunday. We'll go over the whole list of the schedules and times for everybody, of when we're gonna of not when we're going to, but when they're going to hold their press conferences. Mm-hmm. So anyway, welcome to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228 is the number. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at ingamechat. You can find us on Facebook, same way. You can email us, everyone at ingamechat.net, and we are streaming right now on Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv, type in In-Game Chat up in the little search bar there, and you can find us and watch the show live while we broadcast, as well as listen to it, and join in the chat room with everybody who's hanging out there, which, hey, we got quite a few people in there already, in fact. Well, he says that, and then there's 3 names. I thought there was, no, there's more. It just hasn't, I guess, refreshed all the way. So yeah, I'll give that a little bit. Maybe we'll do a chat room roll call coming up in the second hour. So unless a bunch of people just left, which is also a possible thing as well. So yeah, just me and RJ this week. Matt, like I said, Matt should be back next week, and I believe James will probably be in with us to talk E3 stuff as well. Then we'll go over, like I said, we'll go over the E3 schedule. Right now, we'll just go over what we played. I'll start with RJ.
Well, for the most part, I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls 3 again. Just have a bug that I haven't been able to get rid of yet. Trying to get all this new stuff that's available in the DLC for the Ring City and the Ashes of Ariandel, which I've done with my main character already, but it's the alternative characters, the 3 alt characters that I haven't been through yet. I've gone through with 2 of them, my strength build and my dexterity build, but I haven't been able to do so with my intelligence build. So that's what I've been doing for the most week, has been spending time going through the entire game with those characters. And I'll probably be playing more because there's still about 6 playthroughs I have to do to get everything that I want unlocked in that game with these characters. So that's what I've been spending most of my time with this week.
Just that? Anything else?
No, that's it. I mean, so much new stuff came out, but I bought some new games, but I've
what new stuff came out? Because I didn't really pay attention to much.
Well, Tekken 7 came out.
Oh, that's right, because I have music from Tekken 7.
Yeah, Tekken 7 came out on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. For some reason I was thinking it was going to be the 7th, but It was turned out to be the 2nd of this month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I picked that up. I've talked to some folks about it. They're having a good time with it. Just maybe some disappointment with story mode. But then again, with a fighting game nowadays, I think the only company that really pays attention to story is NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah.
With Injustice and Mortal Kombat, they had a pretty well-made story mode. But everyone else pretty much just says you're not here for a story. You're pretty much here to just compete with each other, play online, and do whatever. So not a lot of thought given to story mode. And I think the same could be said with those first-person shooters.
Does it have its place? I mean, does it? Do you think? Do you prefer a game to have story mode, or do
I prefer story.
Really?
I prefer story.
Why?
I'm in the minority. I mean, I just want to see something that gets me interested in these characters playing. I mean, I could see a roster of characters, like 30-something characters on screen, but I want to see someone that interests me, makes me want to inspire me to go in there and see what they're all about, see what their story is.
That makes me think of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that's coming up. Likely won't have a story mode. I doubt it. I don't know. Do those normally have story modes? I don't know. I don't think they do.
Any story that you usually get is going to be from the
each character
mode.
type thing.
Each character's ending when you beat the arcade mode with it. Yeah, provided the game comes with arcade mode.
Yeah. I don't know when that's due out, but I think it's the Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming out.
I'll figure it out. Let's see.
Curious if it's before or after Evo.
Ooh. It'll be good if they did have it before Evo. Let's see.
That's what that's part of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because they try to do that before the big tournaments or whatever.
Got anything?
No, not yet. September 19th, 2017.
After Evo, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well after.
Yeah. So, well, they'll probably have it there, though, at Evo.
Yeah, probably some demo thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Or big reveals and stuff, because it's going to be a big one for them. So, yeah. Let's go to the phones real quick. Talk to Matt, who is, I don't know what he's doing, but he's calling us.
I'm going to disagree with RJ.
With what?
Yeah, he said, like fighting, like first-person shooters don't have story. If anything, Prey is all about story.
Okay.
Wait, you said, okay, I was obviously not paying. You said first-person shooters?
The first-person shooters like the Call of Duty, the military-based ones, things like that. But,
the first three, okay, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Call of Duty,
I guess it was too broad in that thing. I should have been more specific.
Multiplayer, but they still do have story modes. I mean, they're not fully fleshed out in a lot of them, but yeah, no, Prey was all about the story, which was really.
Well, Prey doesn't even have a multiplayer component.
True.
So I would think more along the lines of games, first-person shooters that have a multiplayer component. Usually, I don't know. I don't want to say usually. That was the case for like a big chunk of time.
Yeah.
Right after Call of Duty Modern Warfare released, and
especially with 2. Because Modern Warfare 1 had a really good story. 2 is still a little bit story, and well, even Black Ops had a story.
They all had stories.
Yeah.
It's just, were the stories there to do anything, or was it mainly just
tacked on afterwards?
Yeah, was it mainly just a kind of a multiplayer type title? That's a game that I would. That's a game I likely would buy, like an a la carte type situation. Like if you just sold me the single player campaign or just sold me the multiplayer campaign.
Yeah, completely.
Have those at different prices or whatever, or have a bundle to get both for this much, or you can just buy the single player for like, here's $25 and you can just play the single player.
Yeah.
If you want the multiplayer, you need to fork over $40, something like that, to play multi. That would be an interesting way to go on something.
But no, I'm waiting for a meeting at 4:30.
Oh, okay. Well, what have you played lately? Anything?
I've been playing Players Unknown.
Oh yeah, okay.
With James and Kev, and we've been really enjoying that. And I want to get into. I'm gonna pick up really soon. Now I just got paid. Danger Zone.
It's $13.
Well, I know, but I just got paid, so now I can
okay. There's this is quite off topic, but there's a massive Marvel sale on Amazon right now for digital comics.
I saw that.
I've been going nuts in that.
Steam sale level?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to put it. It is Steam sale level. We're talking I don't know. I posted something in our chat room or in our Google chat.
$3, like 500 pages.
$3.40 for like a 500-page trade paperback, but it's digital. But regardless, it works fantastically well. Yeah, I've been buying so many books. Yeah, especially Amazon has that one-click thing. Mm-hmm. You just click it, and then you don't even go to like, here, we put this in your cart, and here's the text and all this other stuff. You just
like boom, straight.
You just click it. Yeah, I know. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. And
they've engineered that straight for you because they know exactly what you're going to do.
There's a thread on Gaff that just keeps getting updated, and people are like, "Ooh, I just found this. It's on sale. It's a fantastic read. You should pick it up." And I'm going there and buying stuff. Like they've got the Dark Tower series, which was apparently turned into a Marvel comic book, 10 issues, and I think it's only like $5 for all 10 issues or all 10 trades of the entire set for the whole thing. So. I bought the entire Ultimate Spider-Man collection, which is, I don't know, 20 books. I mean, we're talking pages into the thousands, for like $50. No, 45. It was $45, and I got the entire run of Ultimate Spider-Man.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great deal. So that's where my money has been going. Although I already spent the $13 on Danger Zone. So, and if you do get it, I appreciate it if you get it on PC, so that I can have more than just Spigot to play against at the moment.
Oh yeah, I gotta go up against you two.
You will. Spigot's putting in the effort. Okay. I think, and honestly, I think it shows with like even in the high scores. Like the more you go into that game, the more the high scores and the attempts to get to the high score start dropping, just for the fact that either people aren't there yet or they're just satisfied with what they got. They do one run, they're satisfied with what they got, and they move on.
I saw that one the stream that you did with the high score, but the guy did it in 102 tries.
Yeah, I've got 50 tries on one of mine. I think it's the third track of the first test phase. I've over 50 tries for that, and I think I still only have a gold medal. I need to get a platinum. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. But anyway, that's all you played, Battlegrounds?
Yeah, and I found out you need to get the Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Well, yeah, I know.
Didn't you need to buy the rest of us PlayStation VR so we could get the Star Trek?
Okay, I can do that. I buy comics all day. I can't buy you guys a VR.
Yeah,
I would love it though. I wish you guys had it. I wish all of us here had Star Trek Bridge Crew and had our because I think it's a 4 or 5.
I think it's
either 4 or 5 players.
Yeah.
So
everyone that I've been like hearing about say it's like some of the most fun they've had in video games in years.
Mm-hmm.
Even with complete strangers.
Yeah.
It's the most fun you've had in video games.
Totally.
Oh man.
I think it would be great. We just all have to have VR headsets.
Now I know it's for the PC. Do they have it for PlayStation as well?
Yeah. No, it's cross-play for everything.
Okay.
So people with PSVR can play with people who have Vives, and those people can play with people who have Rifts. Oh. Everybody can play with everybody. It's completely cross-platform play.
This isn't helping me with my, with not wanting to get a VR headset.
Well, honestly, it shouldn't. It shouldn't help you to not want to get a VR headset.
Because it's doing the exact opposite. I want a VR headset now.
I know, and I'm hoping that whatever EA has to show at their thing on Saturday will shed some light on the on whatever Criterion may be working on for their VR side of things for Battlefront.
Battlefront, yeah.
Yeah.
If they come out and say like VR campaign and Battlefront, then I'm just like, all right, you guys, here's my money. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, well, I don't know that they'll have a VR campaign. I mean, they may have some more VR with it, but...
And why is it not just one mission?
I think it'll be more than what they gave us.
Yeah, well, because that was an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
I think it'll be more than what they gave us. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
see you guys next week.
Yep, hope your meeting goes well. We'll talk to you later. Take care now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you want to call in, you can, 334-272-9228. That is what I have. I have not been playing VR or Star Trek Bridge Crew, but I have been keeping an eye closely on it and have been really taking a look at that thing just because I've been following the thread about it, and it is basically it takes place in VR. You have to have a VR headset for it, and it puts you at the bridge. It puts you and not necessarily in command. It puts you in different roles on the bridge of different enterprises. And so the missions are completely what is the word I'm trying to think of?
Were they randomized?
They're randomized, but they're God, what is that word that I sometimes have in my head and now I don't? I make it up as I go along. It's completely randomized. In other words, you will not for the most part you won't play the same mission twice. Man, why can't I think of that? Procedurally generated, yes. Procedurally generated missions. So they just, here's a new thing, here's a new mission to go do. It's completely different every time you play.
Okay.
And it continues to stay different every time you play. And you get to be part of the role. So, if you're captain, you have to dish out your orders of tell your people what to do, and those people in those controls have to do those things and make those things happen. So, it does have a single-player campaign where you will play with AI bots who are in those positions.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be as fun, though. It seems to be engineered for...
No, but it's a nice tutorial because, you could get selected for any one of the different positions. And so... yeah, part of the fun, I think, is going in blind, so you don't know what those positions do, and then you can work on it as you go along. But yeah, they've got tutorials for all different ones, so you can run through that, and then you just jump in multiplayer and continue to play the entire time. And it is cross-platform play, which I thought was very, very nice. It's a Ubisoft game, and so you do have to sign into Uplay when you do it, but that connects you to your PlayStation friends, your Vive friends, and your Rift friends.
Yeah.
Everybody who's got the game can play with each other, which makes it so much better. If they had not done that, I don't know how well this game would be doing right now, just for the fact that you would need. I mean, you need people to play with.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the percentage is of Vive owners and Rift owners. I think PSVR owners are probably the highest. There's probably more of those than either of the other two, just for the easy accessibility of it. Not even just both in price and also just the fact that the install base was bigger. But I think it's fantastic. I don't know who's on the phone, but we'll go to him real quick. Hello, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, what
Hey,
you
how
been
you doing?
playing, man?
Well, as soon as Danger Zone finishes downloading on PlayStation, I want to start playing it. But you like it so far? Everything you've been expecting from it?
I like it. I've got a few issues with it, but not enough that would ever sway me to tell somebody not to. I mean, for $13, it's hard for me to say that there's anything wrong with it that doesn't. Like, everything wrong with it always ends with, but it's only $13. Every criticism ends with that. It's only $13. So there's no real criticism for me to tell somebody to stay away from it unless they just don't like those kind of games. They don't, and I'm going to go into it a little bit here in a moment, but I'm playing it on PC, so unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to be able to see what your score is. I know if you've got PS Plus, I think it's down to like $11.
Yeah, I do, and I got the discount. But of course, with taxes, it was like $12.93. So yeah,
it's about $13.
Yeah, it's still $13 anyway.
So I don't know. I may pick it up on. I may pick it up on the PlayStation as well. I'm curious what the.
Yeah, when I get into it, I'll let you know how the controls and all feel and how that if it.
They should be fine. This thing is not very demanding on my machine. And I'm kind of nitpicky on that. Not because I want it to be demanding on my machine, but I mean, I'll go into it a little bit later though. Probably when we get back from this next break, I'll go into my time with it and talk about my feelings on it. But I'm glad that you're picking it up, so I look forward to hearing what you think about it whenever you get a chance to play it.
Yeah.
Which will probably be next week when we hear from you on that.
Well, it's downloading now, so I can talk to y'all next week when I get into it.
Yeah, would love to hear what you think about it. What else you been playing? Anything else?
Well, I've been also playing that new other game. Well, it's been out on Steam and PC longer than that, but that new one called Portal Knights that came out on PlayStation.
Portal Knights, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing it last weekend as well. But if anybody out there that loves the Minecraft and where it just sucks you into building stuff and everything, watch out, because this has strong role-playing elements, RPG elements to it as well, where you gain permanent levels and different skills like every 5 levels that you gain from your fighting the enemies and gaining experience and stuff. But yeah, oh Lord, it's addicting if you're into that kind of stuff.
Well, glad to hear you're having fun with it, and I really, really look forward to hearing what you think about Danger Zone whenever you get a chance to play it.
Well, I always loved the Crash mode in the Burnout series, so that's what I played all the time anyway. When I was playing them, I always played the Crash mode, so it's pretty much right up our alley, isn't it?
Well, definitely stick around and listen to I don't know, I don't want to call it a review or anything, but definitely listen to what my thoughts on it are, because I am a huge fan of the Burnout series, and there are some comparisons to make, but there are some major differences, and I'm going to go over those coming up in the next segment. But appreciate you calling, Chris, and look forward to hearing from you next week.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Take care, man.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. Bye. I'm going to talk about Danger Zone coming up next in the segment. It's not something that should take me 30 minutes to talk about, but knowing me, it's going to take me 30 minutes to talk about it, just for the fact that I've been waiting for this game to come out for so very long. Well, I say so very long. It depends. From the time they announced it, I've only been waiting for about a month, but from the time that I've wanted something like this, I've been waiting for quite a long time, because everything that had "it's like Burnout" tagline attached to it never felt like Burnout. And in a way, this doesn't feel like Burnout either, but we'll talk about that. We'll go over it and I'll give you my opinion. If you have played it, by the way, I'd love to hear from you. Give us a call and talk to us about it. 334-272-9228. If you'd like to talk about it, coming up in the next segment. Especially, I'd love to know if you're on PC, so I can add you on Steam, so I can have more people to play against. Not that Spigot isn't a good enough competitor. He will be eventually, once he starts going back and plays some of the other tracks, so that he can improve his score. But again, we'll talk about this coming up in the next segment. Going to take a break right now. When we come back, like I said, we'll talk about Danger Zone. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can call us 334-272-9228. Again, I pick music every week, trying to pick music from games that have released that week. There weren't many that had any kind of soundtracks that I could use, so I had to kind of dig around a little bit. So there's this game out called Thumper. It did not come out this week. I don't know. It came out earlier in the year, I think, and maybe last year, I believe, on PC. But it's a game called Thumper. This is a track called Transit, and we will be back with more of in-game chat after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. I just thought I'd let that play out. Music from Bioshock Infinite. That was a track called AD. So, welcome back to the show. It's just me, Scott, along with RJ. Just the two of us today. Of course, the full crew probably back next week for you when we talk about E3 stuff. I want to get into talking about Danger Zone. This was a game that I was really looking forward to, counting down the weeks because we'd gotten a vague, it'll release in May type of thing back in April. And so every week in May, it was just like, well, didn't release this week, so we're 1 week closer to it being released. And never really getting an idea of when it would be out. May 30th was the date, so it came out on Tuesday. And I downloaded it that morning. That morning I got up. I get here to work about 5:45. 5:30, 5:45 or so. But I get up at 4:30 every morning, Monday through Friday. So when I got up on Tuesday morning at 4:30, just before I head out the door, I went to my computer and went to the page for it, bought it right there, let it download, and was waiting for me when I got home after work. And I immediately streamed it when I got home. I've not put that stream up on YouTube just yet. It was about an hour and a half of streaming, about an hour and a half of just playing the thing. But this is a game made by 6 people. If you go to their credits, which you can do, this is a very bare bones game, by the way, released by 6 people. This is more bare bones than their first effort, which was Dangerous Golf. And there was there was a lot in Dangerous Golf that gave me Burnout vibes. The font. I mean, seriously, the font that they used. Everything about that was a very Burnout-y experience. Up until you got to the game where you whacked a golf ball around and made it explode and do stuff. Then that's when it was like, okay, this isn't Burnout, but I can see where they're going with it. Danger Zone's a little bit of the reverse. There's nothing Burnout about it until you get to the actual gameplay. It is extremely bare bones. There's no intro or opening. It takes you right to this splash screen or the menu screen that says, do you want to crash or do you want to look at credits? Well, it's crash and then I think settings and credits that you can click between. So you can go to your settings. This is not very demanding on my machine. I have a 980 Ti. It doesn't eat up a lot of RAM. It doesn't eat up a lot of CPU usage. This is a very... which is odd because Dangerous Golf uses a ton of my RAM and CPU usage. There's more particle effects in Dangerous Golf.
Glass and dishes and things like that being smashed apart by an exploding golf ball. Yeah, I would see that there.
And that's kind of one of my complaints about Danger Zone, is that there's not... I feel like these cars could explode a little bit better in the sense that instead of like windshields, just kind of showing a brake animation that doesn't really... I'm just saying the glass could shatter out, when a car explodes. It could show those particle effects a little bit better, and it doesn't actually do that. I don't know if they can update it to do something like that. I don't know if they can move a little forward with it. They did that with Dangerous Golf. They did a lot of updates to it as it went through on the PC. I never played it on PS4 or even Xbox One, but they did some updates on that when you wanted to replay, it didn't take as long to do, and they added some controls and stuff that you could do with it as well. There was a lot that they added to Dangerous Golf, so I'm hoping there's stuff that may be added into Danger Zone. But I think that's all going to depend on sales and going to depend on reception to it as well. This is not going to be a really cohesive review as far as in any kind of direction. I'm going to go off in different tangents and things, so... I do like it. I love the fact that I can jump into a game in no time. I love the fact that it takes me less than 5 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to start this thing up on my PC and get going. Now I'm running on a solid state drive. That may or may not have something to do with it. Probably has some factor into it. So I love the fact that it takes me 2 minutes to jump into a game. I can jump into a game immediately, and the test tracks of what you're playing take you 45 seconds to a minute to go through. It's that quick. You start in one position and you run into traffic and make things explode. Mm-hmm. That takes maybe 60 seconds to do. So it's great for the fact that I can get in there and play over and over and over again. Even if I've only got 10 minutes, I can put in a lot of good time with this thing. So I enjoy that aspect about it. I am a high score chaser, and if you're not, then you're not going to get much out of this. There aren't that many tracks. I want to say there's 20, and that's it. There's 20 spaced out over, I think, 3 phases, 3 tests, And I don't necessarily think that they increase with difficulty. I think within each one they increase with difficulty. So, like when you're in test phase 1, the first one is just really bare bones, and you just do your thing, and then the second one's like, okay, now we're going to add a jump. Okay, now we're going to add a curve. Now we're going to add multiple lanes in the next one. Now we're going to add this, and and as you go through, there is increasing levels of difficulty. But then when you go to test phase 2, after unlocking all of those, it starts out again with seemingly something very simple. And you build that up again as it goes through. I've only played the second track on test phase 2, and there's 3 test phases. So I'm quite early into this, mainly because of my addiction to chasing high scores. You can get a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum medal. Platinum medal being the highest that you can get.
Right.
And so I've gotten a few platinums. There are some golds, and so I keep going back to my golds to try and make those platinums again. I keep chasing a high score. Now, I obviously chase, if I got a friends list, which right now I've only got one other person on my friends list, which is Spigot Brock. If I've got people on my friends list that I can chase against, then that's great too, and I will. Currently, I'm in the lead with my friends list, so I have nobody to chase there, but I am still trying to get those platinums. That will continue to bring me back. Motal says this sounds very bare bones. Guess what? It does sound very bare bones, but as I said before, it's only $13. It is only $13. Now, I don't know. It may be different where you're at, Motal. I don't know what the price is where you're at. But yeah, so
right now the way you describe it sounds like something you have on a smartphone or something. If it's that bare bones.
No, there's a
little more involved in that.
I say bare bones in the amount of like dressing. It's still got a lot going on.
Okay.
Your car is still running into hundreds of other cars of traffic, and they're all doing their thing, and then the explosions look really great. But compared to the explosions that you're doing inside of Dangerous Golf, they're not as dynamic, I guess you would say. Because, in Dangerous Golf, you're blowing up kitchen items, so stacks of plates break apart and shoot out across the screen. Oranges, bust open and then move, and then like microwaves explode and the door flies off. You're not getting any of that here.
Not even pieces of the vehicles falling off when they explode?
Well, not tanker trucks, but like load trucks that have like big, large pipes that they're carrying.
Yeah.
Those will fly off the truck and cause other accidents.
Okay. But you're not going to see a hood fly off and hit someone's windshield.
No. You're not going to see, That's the thing. Parts of the car, other than like the tires, like when my car's done, I don't have any tires on the car, but I don't remember seeing those tires fly off the car. I don't remember seeing my windshield bust out, and glass particles go everywhere. I would love it if my door just blew off and flipped and went everywhere. I would love more of the breakable car. I don't necessarily want to say I love car wrecks. In the real world, no, I don't. In movies, in my video games, I love car destruction. I love vehicle destruction. If I could take what Michael Bay does, and this is what a lot of Burnout was for me, what Michael Bay does with car chases and car wrecks and car explosions in his movies, and put it in video games, That's what I would want, and that's what a lot of what Burnout gave me. Going back to Burnout, though, if I go back to Burnout's crash mode, I don't necessarily think I saw any of that stuff either. I probably didn't because at the time it couldn't handle stuff like that.
Mm.
So you're getting, sort of generic type explosions and that sort of thing. So I can't really say that it should be this way, but after seeing what they did with Dangerous Golf, I really can't understand why they couldn't make it happen for Danger Zone as well. Like I say, it's bare bones, but it's bare bones to the point that it just gets you right into gameplay. There just ain't a lot for it. There's no dressing on it to go through. There is no story here. There is nothing. You have a training mode that you can go through, which tells you all about the pickups, the multipliers that you can get, the smash breakers that you get. There's only 4 of those. There's 4 training modes. That's it. And then it goes right into, you can just start playing the game. And everything's locked. So, you do have to play it in order that it wants you to go. So you play the first one, and I don't even know if you have to medal to get to the next one. But you just play the first one, the next one unlocks. You play the next one unlocks. And it just goes on from there. So yeah, it does a flyover of the track as the track builds, because you're supposed to be in this like simulator thing. Everything takes place in what feels like a car garage, not an outside area type thing. It's all in a car garage. It feels a little claustrophobic at first. It feels like, well, this seems very just tight for cars to be doing explosion stuff, but it works well. You start to not really pay attention to it, and you don't really care. It does a fly over the track real quick to give you an idea of here's where cars are coming from. You don't necessarily always know where you're starting from, but here's where cars are coming from, and then it puts the multipliers up on the track so you can see where they're going to be. As you play, and I believe this was also in Dangerous Golf, I don't think it was necessarily in this particular order, but as you're in the gameplay, you're trying to hit these multipliers. They are the key to getting high scores. Mm-hmm. There's usually 3 bronze, 2 silvers, and a gold. The gold does not show up on the track until you've gotten the bronzes, all the bronze and all the silver. Then the gold makes itself known. Mm-hmm. When it does the flyover, you can sometimes catch it. They'll put the gold in the flyover. They'll put where the gold is going to be. But sometimes they don't. Like, there was one where it was doing this flyover, and I saw the silver and I saw the bronze, but I didn't see the gold anywhere, but I assumed the gold was down this hill. And, of course, as I did it, that's where it popped up. I went down the hill and did it. Usually in fact, all of them that I've noticed, your bronze multipliers are sitting next to extra smash breakers. You get a smash breaker either after 5 cars have a wreck, or 10 cars have a wreck, or 15, or whatever the designated number is for that track. But if you can pick up a smash breaker earlier, while you're rolling through the crashes and stuff, you can set it off, and cause more destruction. You're all about trying to raise the money value. So if you get the bronze, if you get all 3 bronze, and then you get all 3 silver, and then you get the gold, that's called a grand slam. If you get them in order, you'll get 5 billion extra points at the end of the run. Which is always good to have. Now, if you get a bronze, get a silver, then get the other bronze, if you get them out of order and then get the gold, you'll still get a bonus, but it won't be 5 million. I can't remember what it is because it's obviously not worth getting. Not when there's 5 million out there on the table. It's not worth it. If you don't get them in order, there is no point in getting, because the guy who is placed first on the leaderboards, he got them in order. Mm-hmm. He got that 5 million Grand Slam bonus. And so that's what you have to do. And so then it becomes a puzzle. Then it becomes a game of repetition. Everything is kind of dynamic because these cars are going to do what they're going to do, and your explosion is going to happen differently every time because you're the variable in this. They're all doing their thing, but you're not going to do the same thing twice. It's just not going to work out that way. I don't care how many times you run it. Your timing of when you hit a certain car is not going to be always the same, and so therefore that's going to throw things off a little bit. It's very much like ripples in a water, that it's just going to have an effect within the traffic of what you do, and so it's all different every single time. I played 150 some odd times during my stream, because I was chasing that platinum, and I never got it. But I got good enough to where I was like, okay, I got good. Let's move on.
We able to get the Grand Slam on that course?
Yeah, I even got the Grand Slam, but I still wouldn't get in the platinum. Yeah, no. It's still
it's strictly score based. There's no like style points or things like that, or it's just strictly.
No, there's no style points. There's very little style because your car, you play the same car every time. They don't have different kind of cars for you to pick from. You're in the same car every single time. And that car's one purpose is to gain speed and run head on into traffic. That's it.
I mean something like a
do a flip off a jump or something.
You flipped your car flipped 20 times during this thing. That's a bonus to it or something like that. Nothing like that. It's just straight score.
Something that Burnout never had, and I haven't been looking at the chat room here, so I apologize for anybody who might be asking questions here. If you see any as you look through there, RJ, please throw them out for me. Something that Danger Zone has that Burnout Crash Mode never had was an elimination factor. And by that I mean that when you start the game, you're on pretty much flat ground that your car can go wherever it needs to go and that sort of thing. There's no really out of bounds type zones. As you play this, almost immediately you have zones that are out of bound. Like when your car falls off the track, unless there is another level of track under you, you fall into this blue grid thing and immediately you fail.
Yeah.
It's like, simulation failed, let's start you over. Which can be heartbreaking when you have caused tons of damage and you're going for that gold. So you hit your smash breaker and your car blows up and you see the gold and you're rolling your car ever so slowly towards the gold. And you pick up the gold, but your car continues to roll. And then if it falls over, then simulation ends right there. You could have had it, but you fell out of bounds. So there is that. If you cause other cars to fall out of bounds, that's great. You get a bonus. You get a bonus to the damage that you've done to those cars.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the franchise. I don't think I've played Crash Mode or anything like that. Exactly how much control do you have over your vehicle that's crashing?
If your car is once your car, I mean, you have control at the beginning,
right?
And then once it touches another car, you have very little control after that. A lot of the times you want to put yourself into a position because of the way traffic is flowing. So let's say, I'm using my hands here a lot, but let's say there's a bronze, or let's say there's a multiplier and a smash breaker down the track a ways. But it's left of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're running into an intersection and traffic is already going in that direction. You can't merge with that traffic. The moment you touch a car, it's going to skid off and cause a chain reaction and everything's going to go haywire. So what you try to do is put yourself in front so that when they hit you, they will push you towards that. So, because the momentum of other traffic will move your car. When your car is in the air, you have quite a lot of control. And I don't care if it's in the air by means of a smash breaker or if you do a jump and you start hitting the tops of cars that are blowing up and you move your car a little bit. It's going fast because you don't have the slowdown mechanic that a smash breaker triggers. But you can still move your car in the general direction you need it to go. Once you get a smash breaker and you set it off, time slows down, you can move your car. It's very easy to move your car around and pick up other objects. You can get lucky and your car can flip a little bit after a smash breaker, and that'll gain some. It's kind of like walking your car towards an objective. But there were times where my car went up flat, did not flip or anything else. It went up flat. It moved, but it stayed flat. And as soon as it hit the ground, it slid a little bit, but it didn't get the momentum it would have if it was doing some flips.
Right.
And so you get lucky bounces sometimes. Which is what I guess those would be called, was a good bounce off of a smash breaker to get to your objective. So there's that aspect as well. I haven't, like I said, I haven't gone too far into it, mainly because of my desire to improve what I've already done. I'm very much I've said this, I'm a score chaser. I am. I'm especially a platinum chaser when I know that there's something that, like, if I can get a platinum, I'm usually good to move on from there. I may not be first on the leaderboards, but I have a platinum, and so that's the highest I can go medal-wise. Let's move on.
Yeah. I think we talked about it earlier during break. It's like when you play your pinball games.
See, here's the difference with pinball, though. If I'm on a good run with pinball, I can be there for hours. Because you're gaining extra balls, you're gaining extra plays, you're gaining, ball one on a pinball game can be an hour long. If you're good enough and have a good run with it.
Performance-based run, yeah. The better you do, the more.
That's the thing about pinball. If you want a high score in pinball, you need to plan to be there a while, because that game takes a while to gather up those bonuses and gather up the jackpots and everything else. I mean, you actually have to really earn that score, and you have to do so by sitting there and playing that game. This is not the case. Every single track takes about a minute to a minute and a half, depending on how big the track is or how much there is to do or how good you are at it. But there is a finality to it. The traffic isn't continuous. There is a set number of cars that come from one angle, a set number of cars that come from another angle, and they're also all timed. So, like, there was one where I was driving down a very large hill, and I could hear the car gaining speed. There is no speedometer, so I have no idea how fast I'm going. But you're driving down, and there are 3 intersections of traffic. And so, but they don't all come into their intersection at the same time. So the first intersection is starting to fill with traffic. You get there in time to cause a bunch of damage, get a smash breaker, hopefully in enough time that you can start flipping your car to the middle of the next road in between the 2 intersections where another smash breaker sits. Get there to pick that up, blow yourself up again to move yourself into the center of the next intersection of traffic that is just starting to come into each other, And so once you get there, again, you picked up a silver and another smash breaker. Blow yourself up. Move yourself again towards that middle section, towards the 3rd intersection. So you understand what I'm saying? It's like intersection, little tiny bit of road to the next intersection, little tiny bit of road to the next intersection. And so you're doing this, and as you're doing this, you're timing yourself because each intersection starts its flow of traffic at a certain time. So you're trying to get to the next one so that you don't miss any of those cars. Because if you can catch it at the beginning, those cars are going to cause a pileup where all the other cars are going to run into it. There is a counter of how many cars are involved in your accident that you make. So you can look at top scores, and that's the cool thing about it. You can look at somebody's top score, and it tells you how many attempts they tried and how many cars they wrecked on that attempt. So if you see dude got like 96 cars, and you only got you keep only getting to like 75 to 80, you got to change up your style. You got to figure out something to get higher on that. You're missing something somewhere.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, exactly. You're missing some cars. So yeah, I told you I could take 30 minutes to talk about a game. It's only $13.
Especially if you like it.
And again, it goes back to being, it's only $13. Let's see. Moltal says the price of $12.88, is it really just a score attack? Kind of, pretty much. Sounds like it should be a $2.99 mobile game. Yeah, Lethal Migraine. This is power requirement. There's no game. Just put your finger on the phone screen and then fling the cars. Actually, that's not a bad idea, Lethal Migraine. I like that. Fling the cars on your phone screen.
You might be onto something.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be like Pain on PlayStation Network. Remember that? Put yourself with a slingshot and just sling yourself into things, see how much destruction you can...
yeah, I remember Pain.
Pain, yeah. I still got that.
I remember Pain. I'm reading the chat room. You spent way too much time on this guy. When you have to say it's only $13 to get you to overlook all its flaws, it's clearly not worth buying or spending 15 minutes talking about it on a radio show. These are, I love these games, man. And if you've got a game that you love and you want to talk about it, feel free to call in and spend as much time as you want talking about it. But I love these kind of games. It's been a long time since I've had anything that is even remotely Burnout. Three Fields Entertainment, who made Danger Zone, worked on the Burnout games. And this is sort of something that they're kind of betting the farm on. I'm not necessarily saying that they're not going to do anything if this doesn't succeed, but it's going to direct them in which way they go. They are completely self-published. Why they don't do like a Kickstarter or something like that, I have no idea. I want to say I looked for an interview where they were asked that question, like, why don't you just do? There seems to be enough demand for what you guys want to eventually do. Why don't you do like a crowdfund thing and get this thing going? They know more about it than I would on that. We've seen a lot of campaigns turn into, thanks for giving us the money we thought we needed, but now we need more, and things turn out bad, worse, whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to avoid that stigma. I have no idea. But I feel like if they were to do something like that, and maybe that's the next direction they go in. Maybe that's something they go in. They're looking for publishers. They would love to have a publisher, but nobody's picking them up. And it's not, I know Lethal Migraine's going to say, well, that's because their games are crap. It's not because the games are crap. I swear, I think from all the forums that I read, people look at this and they're like, I'm so glad we got this, but this isn't the Burnout I want. I want my racing. You know, I want my racing with my wrecks. And I believe if they had the funds to make something like that, they could. And I think it would be enough for them to make something that improves upon it. I would like to see with this, I would like to see them add more cars, add more tracks, just something that kind of keeps the flow going so that they can make something more with this. Expand upon this sort of crash mode thing and get that going, and then do the racing part. Well, whatever they can do, honestly, but I really want to see it get to where we get another Burnout game. Because that just doesn't seem like that's ever going to be happening again. I fired up Burnout Paradise not too long ago and was playing that, and I really fell in love with it. I have done everything that I've ever been able to do in Paradise, with the exception of Big Surf Island, which was an add-on that they gave. I want to say for free.
I'm looking at the numbers on it. I think someone said in the chat room that it got like a 7 out of 10 in some areas. I looked up Steam. It's like 3.5 out of 5 stars. So it's not bad, but not
well, something like that
right
turns most gamers off. You know, if it's not 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, then it ain't worth it for a lot of people. You know, if it's 3 out of 5, then that's not good. Whereas 3 out of 5 should be, hey, don't completely dismiss this. Take a look at it.
I would think that's average. Just it's an average title.
It is,
it might be hit or miss for you, anything like that.
Man, game scores today, you reach into the 70s. You know, on out of 100 scale.
Yeah.
Most gamers, it's crap, it's rubbish. Don't want to play it. I'm seriously, the majority. Yeah. The majority of people.
I would think that's worth a rental at least.
Yeah, the majority of people will throw that away. They will look at something that they highly anticipated and see that it gets a 75, and they will immediately write it off in their heads. Well, it's no good. They'll either say my predictions of this came true, or man, that's sad. I was hoping it would do better. That's not bad. 75 out of 100 is not bad. It really isn't. Give it a chance. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people just, that's it. It's out of their mind. They move on to the next thing. You know.
Jeez.
I'm not kidding. It's a lot like that. At least from forums that I read and stuff, I see where people see the grades of these scores and it's just not good enough. Even 80s and stuff, like an 80 on something out of 100, like a Metacritic score of an 80 is just really bad for them. Unless it's 90 or above, a lot of people don't really, it's just not good enough for them, for the general audience. And that's really, really, that's disheartening to think about, because there's a lot of stuff riding on that. Because that means sales decrease massively. You know, Metacritic scores sit at like an 89, and then people are already saying, it didn't get to where I was hoping it was going to get. I'm not going to buy it. So then they lose a sale. While yet, if they had bought it, they might say, well, I don't agree with that 89 score. I'm actually having fun with it. This is a game that, whatever you may think, for whatever you may hear me say about this, I am having fun with it. Yes, there are things that I wish it could do. I could give you, we talked about Prey. I could give you other things that Prey is not a perfect game, but I got 40 some odd hours out of it.
I'm trying to think of one off my head right now. I think I didn't get a lot of good scores, but it was an old game on PS2 a while back, Disaster Report.
Never played it.
Yeah, it was about the reporter. Your first day on the job as a reporter going to this city that's falling apart basically because of bad work by this company that runs the whole place. But yeah, it wasn't the prettiest game, wasn't a flashiest game, but I held my interest and got me a good 20, 30 hours out of it. So yeah, so I wouldn't dismiss it immediately. At least give it a rental before you dismiss it. Don't judge it completely on the score.
I don't, and sometimes you can't give rentals. I mean, Danger Zone is something
PC.
you can't. Yeah,
yeah.
Danger Zone is something you can't get a rental of. There is no demo. I think they released a demo of Dangerous Golf, but I can't remember. They did a lot of things with Dangerous Golf. That was their first game that they published, self-published and self-made. That they said, that took a lot out of us, and we really can't do that again. And that was one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons there is no Xbox One version of this game.
Right.
They didn't have enough manpower to port it over. I don't necessarily know the entire. Oh, we have a call. I'm going to put them on hold real quick because we've got to take a break. And then we'll get this call.
Sure.
I'm going to shut up about Danger Zone, but we can still talk about it. That's no problem. But if you'd like to get in touch with us, give us a call, 334-272-9228. Going to go into a break here. This is music from Tekken 7. It is called Fight Night. It is, what is that genre of music that is dubstep? It is dubstep heavy. This is like the main menu character select screen is where this is found in the game. I just picked it because I thought that's going to be the most recognizable to anybody that plays this game. Will be the main menu character select screen. So we'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. That is music, we were talking about E3 stuff, and we're going to get some info on Far Cry 5. So I went back and found music from Far Cry 4. That is called The Target. That's what that track is called. I'm Scott along with RJ, and we have got a little chat room roll call here. AC Wraith is in there, Medusa's Mira hanging out, Lavos as well. Got Faye Gwent, Head Crusher, GTS.
Played him out from GT South.
That's what I thought GTS would be.
Right.
Lethal Migraine, Multile, Omega Zenessence, Tactus 59, the Elite 7, and Mike Devil hanging out there as well. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat room, and thanks everybody for listening to us on the radio as well right now live. We have somebody calling. I answered this right now during when the music was playing before we came back on camera, and I could barely hear them, so I'm going to jump to them live real quick, and hopefully we've got a better reception here. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's Multile. How's it going?
There you are. Hey, man.
Sorry, that was a bit of an audio mess up on my end.
Okay. I figured that was you. I couldn't tell. I could hear very faintly somebody was trying to talk to me, but I could not understand what you were saying. And it had nothing.
Am I
to do
loud enough at the moment, by the way?
Oh yeah, no, you're
good.
fine.
You're
You're
good.
fine.
Oh, that's okay. No, things just sort of messed up as soon as I called in, and it was like, oh, come on, please,
Yeah.
please just work.
No, man, you're good. Just to go back a little bit to Danger Zone, right when we hit the break, Chris called back, and he was looking at the PlayStation Store for it. And out of ever how many reviews it had, people do the star rating thing or whatever it is on PlayStation Store.
About 60 or so.
I think he said 60 or so, which actually is very low.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought that would have had a lot more people like.
Well, it came out May 30th, right?
I mean, it came out Tuesday.
Yeah.
I would think it would have. Let me go to the PlayStation Store real quick
I'm
and
on the
check
way
for
now.
myself. Maybe I heard him wrong. I may not have. I mean, it may be. That may be what he was. He did say though it had 4 out of 5 stars for the rating there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the other side of things, you've got Steam giving a mostly positive review, which is directly 76% of the users find the game positive. So, in relation to scores and everything, people have different ways of scoring things. I go for if I'm ever trying to put a number on things, I like to go for, 5 is actually average, sort of like my anime list. They actually put little words beside them, bad and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's got 62 ratings, 4 out of 5.
Aye.
On
my end,
Store.
where is it? 76% of 72 users reviews find this game positive. So, I think what points that you've brought up and that I've read online as you were talking with the price paired with what you're getting with the game seems like a good deal.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, every criticism that I can bring up about it, I can wave away with the fact that it's not that much out of pocket investment to play it.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting my money's worth. I can easily tell you that just for the fact that I like chasing high scores. If you're not a fan of getting high scores, if you're not somebody that just tries to continually improve what you do in a game that is about score chasing, then this is not going to be your thing. You're not going to like this. It is not. There's not enough there for you. If you just like causing wrecks and having different intersections to cause wrecks with and different setups, then this is good. But it's only going to give you, I don't know, maybe 3 hours of play, which is probably again maybe that's a little bit. I never like to do the. Not enjoyment to price ratio, but the game.
But no, that is a thing that people do pair into their consideration when they're looking at, like, literally how high is the price? How much am I going to get for this game?
Yeah, I don't want to go. Yeah,
up this argument all
the
time.
game length to price ratio, where you talk about. Well, I paid a full price game I paid full price for this $60 for my game, but it's only 3 hours long.
And sure, that's why the website that goes to, I've actually forgotten the name of it, but it does an average of how long a game takes. That's why websites like that come up, because, they give you, if this is, if you're going to go solidly through the storyline, this is the amount of hours and minutes on average. If you're going to complete the game 100%, hours and minutes, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is a big deal to people, even though that might not be a good bar, it's another yardstick, which is just however far people think they need it,
Yeah, I mean, if somebody doesn't like the game, I won't defend them. I'm not gonna defend any of their criticisms towards the game. I'm defending my own criticisms for it, other than the fact that I would love to, and maybe somebody can do a postmortem with them, and somebody can interview them and find out. There's only 6 people here to talk to, so. How come I can have this?
Put out your feelers, Scott.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get it going.
How come I can have this dangerous golf game that gives me these particle effects and eats my system alive with all these different settings that I can put at max, but yet here's your car crash game that.
Yeah, like RJ was saying before, why is there not more destructive capabilities with the cars and
there
with
isn't,
the environment?
Yeah. There isn't as much as. And honestly, that didn't dawn on me. Trust me, when I first started playing it, I was in hog heaven with it. I was loving it up. I was just enjoying having something back that was it was in my field of play, or my field of enjoyment, which is seeing some great car wrecks and things like that, and seeing these cars explode and that sort of thing. I eat that stuff up. I love it, and so I was in my wheelhouse there. But the more I played, and the more I started thinking about Dangerous Golf and going back to videos of Dangerous Golf and watching that, and remembering the load that it would take on my system, especially once they updated it. They updated it with more options and things that you could do. That I was just like, why? And none of that is sitting there in the settings on Danger Zone, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. They developed this game in 6 months.
Yeah.
They started just before Christmas, and they released it in May.
I'm trying to think if it's safe to say that maybe it was a lack of resources. That's just a guess on my part.
On the side of the lack of resources and that sort of thing, what could have happened is, you see the particle effects and everything that they've actually integrated into the Dangerous Golf game.
Mm-hmm.
That could have actually brought up a problem with trying to transfer that idea over into the Danger Zone game, where they've already built assets that use all these extra bits. And if they're having such a quick turnaround, like you said, Scott, maybe they weren't able to actually transfer over those additional, like breakages and things. They're not. I don't know what engine that they're using. Like, if they were using Unreal, there's some built-in. Well, I was just going to say there's built-in like walls and tables breaking apart, but I don't know how much to the extent they have of vehicles.
Yeah.
So if it's a quick turnaround and they haven't been able to integrate that, I actually wouldn't be surprised. Since, like you said, it's a 6-man team and they've got a low price point on it as well.
Yeah, they're using Unreal 4. This is the lower price than what Dangerous Golf was. Dangerous Golf, I think, was up in the $30 range whenever it released.
And how did you feel like that would compare to what you played of it?
Oh, good God! There were, I don't know how many core. There was like 100. There were 100. There were 100. I want to say levels in that game. There were 100 different scenarios in Dangerous Golf.
Well, maybe again, this is complete speculation, but they could have cut their losses at what they could do at this stage, and they needed a cash boost basically, and put out basically what they could. What they have done.
Yeah, I mean,
so far.
Look, I am taking what they've released, and I've said, and I'm throwing out ways they could have improved it. Whereas they probably already looked at all these ways and said, well, if we do this, then we can't do this, or if we
that is a thing that you still need to bring up in criticism of it. To make sure it's solidified the next time they come round to this. Like I was trying to say in chat as well, if they do something like a Danger Roads or Danger X or Y, where they're expanding upon this game, they need to include those extra bits that people were expecting. Like you were really clued into this. Imagine those people that were big fans of Burnout, and this showed up on them. They saw hashtags, or they just saw it come up on their Steam list, and like, this is my game. They buy it, and then it's not everything that they were expecting. It's some things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very possible. And maybe with an update they do something with it. I really don't know. I have no idea what their plan is. They haven't said anything since it released. They've been very excited about the release, looking at their Twitter. But yeah, they really haven't spoken up much. And yeah, so I'll reach out to them and see if I can't get them on the show sometime.
Oh, definitely do. I would say that would be an incredibly interesting, discussion to have with them, especially coming from their perspective, because there are some of these answers that with most games we'll never see, and with something like this, especially where you're a fan, you're actually, you're always on top of it as well. You're going to give a really good perspective to them of what you were expecting, what you're figuring out, and how this is actually compared, like you said, to the price and. It's weighing quite well.
Yeah, and I don't want to. Again, I don't want people to think that I am not satisfied with what I got.
I don't think anyone calls that into question, Scott.
Yeah.
Honestly, their migraine has been trying to point out a few times. We should stop talking about this.
Which is fine. I'm totally ready to stop talking about that. We can talk about. In fact, you were calling. What did you? You were going to call earlier, but we started going.
Oh, I was just going to call. I'm just calling for random bits, but. Have you played the new release that has shocked the whole globe over? Pokemon Magikarp Jump.
Yeah, no, I have not. Is that a mobile game?
That is. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no.
literally downloaded it today after listening to a podcast. So, do you know what cookie clickers are?
I do. In fact, on my PC that streams this show, I am I keep clicker heroes going on in the background.
Yes. So, mix.
Is that what Is that what that game is?
It's basically that mixed with a bit of Punch Club.
Oh, God.
Did you play some of that?
No, I love Punch Club. That's by the Tiny Build guys.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a bit of good. Well, for me anyway. I'm actually, as I've been talking to you this whole time, I've been playing it the whole time just to see if there's going to be something unexpected or something. But if everything seems very by the numbers, cookie clicker plus Punch Club. You know, you're leveling up stats, but it's only the one stat. It is your level. You're actually just leveling up your level. I know it sounds a bit redundant, but you get a max level. You eat fruit in your little, I would assume a kawaii pond or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, goldfish pond basically, and you start earning gold, earning your premium currency, which is diamonds. And yeah, you're just eating fruit, and then you go into your league, which is a map. First one starts off with 5 points. Second one off gives you let me just count 5, 10. It looks like 10 points, and you try and see how far you go with one Magikarp. And if it gets defeated, you go catch a new one, and you go level it up, and that is literally it. Literally that. You know, they're trying to get you to spend your gold and spend your diamonds on leveling up your food, leveling up your training, which you can do with the Magikarp, and then decorating your pond. And
what's the monetary aspect?
Well, everything's going to be given to you in sterling, of course, but they actually make it a point to throw up messages saying you can earn everything in game. You can earn everything in game, but
you can do it quicker if you pay us.
Basically, I think.
Yeah.
You trade after 5 trade-ins of 2,500 tickets. You can earn 100 diamonds a day, which is ridiculous. So let's say they've got things as cheap as 99 pence, which is let's just say it's nearly for $1, like you were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, $12.88 is about 12 pounds and 88 pence is about $15 at the moment.
Yeah.
So we'll just say about the same at the moment. You've got 50 diamonds for 99 pence, and 50 diamonds doesn't really get you very much. You know, those type of ones are just to get you over a barrier, and you get £5 for 250, which is just basically a base times. Actually, you're getting a worse offer there because it should be £4 and 96 pence or something. You know, but to just sum it up, it is the paying option in this is it's for people that are sort of lazy or just don't have the time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's what all the payment options are for free to play games like that. Is always if you're just impatient, or well, if you got the money too. There's that aspect of it as well.
Well, I'd say it's forced impatience, because if you see how much it's going to take for you to get to that level you want, then they're going to force the.
That's a very good phrase. Forced impatience. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
And that's actually a really good thing to go on as well, RJ, because with your run with your Magikarp, you can only get so far. If your Magikarp doesn't jump high enough and beat its competitor, it's immediately retired, and you have to start from a level 1 Magikarp. Now, granted, I got chucked out at like 6 or 7 on this run that I'm on. And I'm already up to level 7 after maybe about 40 minutes, and that's without paying any money. So if you wanted, you can blast through it. of getting a Magikarp up to the same level as you had, but there's just no hook for me. You know, it's not fun enough. Like I said, at a point with both Cookie Clickers and Punch Clubs, it's going to either be playing itself or you're going to be doing so like menial tasks that are so small that you know it's no point.
Yeah, you're gonna feel.
But I do have to say, my daughter loves the game. She is just over 2, and she likes the fish and poking the thing to make it eat the food. So it's already a positive on my
found its audience.
Yep.
Yes,
What
exactly.
were you saying, RJ?
I was saying you were gonna feel the grind after a little while playing this game. Yeah, but like with all the free-to-play games, you're gonna feel the grind on that one.
Yeah.
Because I remember having that with Let It Die. It's fun and everything. Yes. And there it's fun and all thing, but when you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna start hitting that wall.
Another free-to-play game, right?
It is free to play,
yeah.
but there are things you buy, like you buy lives, basically.
Yeah, your life system. Yeah.
Your lives are bought. You buy the lives that you use in the game. Yeah, along with the money and the supplies and the equipment and things like that. You buy your lives in that game. So when you run out, that's it. You're gonna have to start completely over.
Well, Motel, we're going to be coming up on a break here, but are you willing to hang on to the line? You're not. This is you're doing what, a Skype call here or what?
Well, again, don't worry about it. I will let you know if sorry, I'll cut off if I run out of credits. So don't worry.
Oh, okay. I don't want to keep you on too long, but
I'll hang about for a bit.
Yeah, I want to come back and I want to talk about. We've got the PS Plus games that are out for June. We did the Xbox games last week, but we got the PS Plus games for that one. I want to talk about that just very, very briefly to go over the list.
100%.
Then we've got E3 to talk about, and I'm curious as to what your E3 excitement, where it sits. So let me put you on hold, and like I said, if you got to go, you got to go. But hopefully,
no, I'll see you after the break. Don't worry.
All right, awesome. Hang on. So we're going to put him on hold. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about E3. We're going to give you the whole schedule of what's going on next week, starting on Saturday the 10th, and going into the week from there. And we're going to talk to Motel about his thoughts, get RJ's thoughts, get our thoughts, get your thoughts if you want, 334-272-9228. Again, here's a track where I just went to my Steam friends list to see what people were playing. Somebody was playing this, and I said, well, let me go look at the soundtrack for that. This is a track called Moving On. It is from the game RimWorld. And we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat after this. Welcome back to the show. I'm Scott here with my partner RJ. We're Sticking up. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, it definitely has that film noir feel.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
It does. Like I'm thinking of
Remember the last time L.A. Noire? I think we
Yeah.
played music from L.A. Noire, and I did the whole thing.
Yeah. You in your detective mode.
She was tall. Legs that went on for days.
No.
No.
What's one of them comparisons they do in those things?
She was
like
a dame. No, dude. Oh,
we gotta come
God.
with better material than
This
that
is
on the
music,
road,
by the way,
man.
from Gunpoint.
Okay.
It's on PC.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a game called Gunpoint. That's the main theme for it.
That's the infiltration
Mhm.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think James told me about that one.
Oh, yeah.
He had a good time with that one.
Fun game.
Yeah, it is.
I enjoyed it very, very much.
I think I bought it, but of course, like all my Steam games, bought it, hadn't played it yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the phones and bring Moltal in. So,
Hi,
Hey.
Friday.
Moltal, thanks for hanging around.
No, not a problem.
Rook-
Just to add in Gunpoint.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Love it.
Yeah, no, great game. Loved it. I don't even think that ever came out for consoles. I think it was just PC only.
As far as I know, it was PC only.
Yeah. The PS Plus games that you get for June, we've got Life is Strange and Killing Floor 2 for PS4.
Oh, that's not a bad selection.
Not a bad selection at all. Neon Chrome and Spy Chameleon, those are for Vita, but they are also crossplay on the PS4, so they're like PlayStation Network games, I guess.
Mhm.
So you'll actually
Okay,
get
yeah.
those. You'll actually get those for PS4 as well. And then for PS,
Neon Chrome's a bit of a top-down sort of thing.
what is
Oh, Neon Chrome.
Neon Chrome? I didn't know. I didn't look these up. I just grabbed the names real quick. For PS3 players, you get Abyss Odyssey and WRC5 World Rally Championship. So those are your games for the month of June for PS Plus members. Moving on now to E3. So here's how the schedule's going to go. On right before the show next week on Saturday, EA is going to do their E3 presentation. It starts at noon Pacific or 2 o'clock our time. We go on the air at 4. So this thing's going to be on at 2 o'clock. It'll probably be over with by 3 or 3:30. And then we'll go live and we'll be talking a lot about what we just saw for EA. Let's see. On Sunday, then, that Sunday, after our show next week, you've got Microsoft. This is very strange, but Microsoft at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Central. Bethesda, and this is ridiculous, Bethesda's doing their Sunday night at 9 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Central. At night.
I'm actually wondering how that actually marries up with everyone else.
That's late for me.
So what was it, 11 o'clock Central?
Yeah, that's late for me. Look, I told you, I get up at 4:30 Monday through Friday. So that's...
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. You try to watch that, the best you can hope for is a nap.
Oh, God, that's going to suck so bad to try and watch Bethesda's E3 presentation. That's on Sunday. Then Monday, the PC gaming show is at noon Central, 10 Pacific. Ubisoft does theirs at 3 Central, 1 Pacific. And Sony's does theirs at 8 Central, 6 Pacific. That's at night, in the PM. And then on Tuesday, Nintendo does their thing at 9 Pacific, 11 a.m. Central. So there is your lineup. So it's odd that normally we don't have anything that's going to happen before us. Normally we would save next week's show to kind of speculate what we're going to get, but we'll already have EAs. So
Yeah, you're going to be already in the foot of it.
yeah, really we are. And by the time that the show, so like by the time next week's show hits, it'll already be Tuesday and predictions will already be done. So I'd love to kind of get some predictions out of you at least, what you're going to be expecting out of, I mean, there's things we already know. EA is going to show off Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm,
They're going to show off Need for Speed, which they did a trailer of this week. I don't know what else they've got planned. There's stuff I'm sure that I'm not thinking about off the top of my head right
Well,
now.
last year they did a very quick blow-by of their Star Wars. Basically it was a flaunting of, look, we've got the license. we've got a couple of developers working on the license,
Mm-hmm.
and they had, I think, about 3 or 4 developers. I'm nearly sure it was 3, and there was 3 different games, including Battlefront.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see more of that. I want to say I don't remember when I talked to Amy last, but I wanted to say that this was going to be her E3, that she was going to get to show off what she's been working on, or at least a lot more of what she's been working on. I don't know if that's changed any, though. I really haven't heard a peep out of whatever they're working on. Like, I haven't heard any kind of rumors or anything. It's all been Battlefield. Or Battlefront. I'm sorry. It's all been Battlefront. Battlefront
it's easy to get them mixed up. I think I did it last year when I was calling you as well, multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this Lethal Migraine says there's 5 developers working on Star Wars games. 5 different houses working on Star Wars. I mean, they got the license. You got the license, flaunt it if you're going to do something with it. You got the exclusive license to make Star Wars games. So you got to use that. Star Wars is huge.
On top of that, are you not going to be getting some Disney money as well, which is the money?
That's true. Well, I mean, yeah, they're getting the money. They just don't get the that's the only rights they get, though, out of Disney, is the Star Wars rights to make video games with.
Aye.
And I mean, yeah, they're gonna go with that, and which they should. You got the next movie coming out in December. You get a movie a year coming out, so there's no point in not releasing a Star Wars game every single year. Maybe not Battlefront every single year, but a Star Wars game should be released pretty much every single year. Once they get this ball rolling, I think that's what you're going to see.
Well, that's probably what Disney would want. I'm actually surprised that you haven't seen a sort of collaboration with the Marvel EA as well. Marvel it doesn't seem like Marvel have got their hooks into EA for just doing, the majority of it as well.
Yeah, they don't. Marvel doesn't have anything there. Marvel, I mean, they talked about it a little bit. They said that we are going to be working on our games division to really put out quality stuff. Like right now, the only thing Marvel that's out there is a lot of, I don't want to say free to play, but feels like MOBAs type stuff.
Oh yeah, I think the most AAA thing that we probably have is Marvel vs. Capcom. I think it was 3 that was released a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is due out in September, but Insomniac, I think it's Insomniac, or is it not Insomniac? Oh God, I can't remember the name of the dev company. The same guys that did, Jesus, it was that Xbox One game, and now that's drawing a blank too. Anyway, they're doing the Spider-Man game.
Right. Okay.
For PS4. And I want to say that's Insomniac, but I can't remember. It's the same ones.
I'm not really seeing very much at the moment.
Yeah, it's the same ones that did the Infamous games.
The Infamous?
And then,
right, okay.
Yeah, and the one, God, there was an Xbox exclusive. It starts with an S for some reason.
Spider-Man PS4, Insomniac keeping quiet about E3, blah blah blah. So
no, you're right. I'm sorry. Sucker Punch was Infamous. This was Jesus. I can't remember the name it was an Xbox One game. I don't know if it did very well or not. I know it's pretty much free now if you've got gold.
No, I've looked up a couple of things. It's then Insomniac Games. I think you're right off the bat.
Yeah, it's Insomniac. I know it's Insomniac. I was trying to think of the game they did for Xbox One.
Right, sorry.
Sunset Overdrive. That's the one.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Lethal Migraine. I knew you would have it. I just could not remember it. Sunset Overdrive. And so they're the ones making the Spider-Man game for PS4, which we caught a very short glimpse of last E3, and then I think a little bit more when they did the PS4 Pro reveal. Other than that,
I got to be honest. I from looking at the screenshots, I brought up a memory of the Spider-Man looks fine. The logo of the spider on him looks like it's done in a thing called Tipex over here. It's like a white out for when you're writing in pen and you need to go over it and it dries.
I'm looking at a picture of it now. It really does.
It's a different suit. They're trying to make theirs stand out from. They don't want to be. From what I understand, they're not going to. Their video game universe is not going to tie into their cinematic universe. It's not going to tie into their comic universe.
Well, I think it would look much better if they even just give it a black outline or something. It just looks like someone doodled on
Well,
them,
look, we're talking. First off, we're talking about we're talking about a Spider-Man game in the way that we would talk about a Batman game. What is the biggest thing that comes with any new Batman game? Right, the different amount of suits you could put on the guy.
You're thinking loads of suits then?
Oh my God, tons. You're gonna have tons of different suits for this thing. That's the way the DLC will probably work. Will be all the different suits that you can put on him.
Yeah, I see your point. But I suppose if you're going to do a design like that, you probably want to clean them up with something else quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'll all depend on that, and then it'll probably depend on if you can play it from the outset with that suit, or if you can switch it up during the gameplay or something. I have no idea which way they're going to go on it.
I don't mean to dwell on it, but like his arms look good. Like he's got like little white pads on his arms, and that's looking good. It's just like your chest, the main focal point of the suit is naff. But again, we don't know. It's not out yet. It's just a release trailer sort of thing. So, we'll carry on.
Yeah. So let's see. So there's that, and then I don't know what Microsoft is gonna. Again, we know all these different things. Like Crackdown 3, we'll probably see from Microsoft. Scorpio is going to be a huge thing that they go into. They're going to devote a lot of time to. Will Sony devote a lot of time to? Will Sony devote a lot of time to PSVR? I have no idea.
Well, judging from what they did before, I would be surprised if they did something different to what they did before. I'd be very surprised. The last time, was it not nearly 100% games? Did they not just go, we're doing games, here's our games, sort of thing?
No.
Or
that was that
there? Was that there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but that was going on. I mean,
no, sorry, that might have been their PS3. Sorry, their PlayStation something else, not E3.
Mm-hmm.
Remember with the orchestra? They had the orchestra there.
Oh yeah, they had the orchestra there. That's right.
Was that E3 or was that a different one?
I'm trying to remember. Was it?
See, this is the problem when people do too big, stage shows. You're sort of starting to melt things.
It wasn't Spike. No, that was a bad one we were watching here. That I couldn't tolerate that one day. That Spike Awards that was just really bad. I remember that one really stood out to me.
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay.
But regardless of that, I would be very surprised if they spent an abundance of time on hardware. Because what happened the last time was they were when they did the whole game, and then here's the game. We're going to do a wee speech. Here's 2 more games. They had God of War when everyone was going off. Oh, it's Dad of War and all this sort of caper.
Yeah.
They were getting so much positivity from just going game after game after game instead of developers coming out and preaching their stuff and not actually showing anything.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if they did something different, and if they do, I feel like it would be a detriment. It's not going to be a positive sort of role with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always about the games and the system. I mean, the systems can look good on paper and everything like that, but the reason you buy the system is to play the games on it. So show that off, because that's what you're getting the thing for anyway. So have at it with that.
Because again, this is for core gamers, inverted commas, and all the inverted commas with that.
Right.
You've got quite a lot of people that do PC only, or they do a console only, and then you've got extra people that do high-end PC plus a console, or people that do both consoles. You're literally trying to either convert people to buy your console while they already have something when they are already core gamers during this sort of time, or you're trying to get someone to buy into doing a third purchase of a gaming console. You've got, for example, what I was last generation, I had my Xbox 360, and I had my PC, and I had my Wii, and my PS3 came much later in the life cycle.
Yeah. Because it had, did you have a...
They had all the games.
Yeah, but... They had... Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they had all the games. They had what I like with online features, which was just basically I could connect to people that want to play games straight away, and I didn't have to buy in because quite a lot of my friends do PC, so why would I pay for a subscription that I'm only going to be playing with 2 or 3 people when I could just go into the PC and play with hundreds of my mates, so that sort of way.
Yeah.
This generation, I've literally just upgraded my darling PC. I'll probably be talking about it not next week, but the week after, once E3 has died down or whatever. But I would not be surprised that I'm not surprised. I would prefer, I would say, if Sony went out and did a whole gaming thing again, instead of going, look at our hardware, we have 3.5 teraflops of data, blah blah blah. Most people that are looking at this, if they're comparing it to a PC, they're going to go, that's not actually properly comparable. You're not pulling the same amount of stuff that we're able to do, so I don't care. And for people that aren't tweaked into this, it's useless numbers.
I got a tendency of like zoning out whenever they start talking about the stats of the console itself. I mean, can it handle what you're putting on there? That's really what I want to hear from you about that.
Exactly. Even if you were someone that is enthusiast but not know off numbers, right off the top of your brain, even if you were looking at the numbers, which I did when the Scorpio results got released, they're 3.8 gigahertz or whatever, and 12 gigabytes of DDR5. These numbers are probably completely wrong, but I'm just trying to illustrate that regardless of the numbers that they're actually touting, it doesn't matter, because it's all about how people use the hardware and what they're doing. Because as we saw before, the Wii wasn't supported as much as possible because they were going for the lowest common denominator of how to release games in the generation before. So Xbox and PC and PS3 were getting a bunch of releases. Wii was getting left behind, and then this time round, PCs are not going to be left behind. And then when you're looking at the consoles and you're comparing PS4 numbers, who I think they were bigger, but I'm not too sure what it is at the moment. It's always a toss-up of who's buying and selling at this point. But if you're looking at the numbers between old console users of the standard PS4 and the standard Xbox One, and then the upgraded systems, whenever they are pulling their strings, no one, and I mean no one, is going to release a dedicated game that actually are AAA and want to make loads of money. You're not going to see a COD do that. You're going to see a COD either parcel out like they did, in the transfer of the generations between 360 and Xbox One, PS3 to PS4. They still held on to the people and giving them multiplayer when the system wasn't supported. They were still giving them drift feed content because that's where the players were. This sort of whole Scorpio's going to blow everything out of the water is ridiculous because they don't have the player base yet. You can't call things like that until the player base is there. And even at that, if the majority is going to be on the standard Xbox One, not the Scorpio, and the standard PS4, where are they going to develop the games for? This is the problem that VR has completely run into at the moment, where you're having to buy an additional thing, and that's why the adoption rate's so low. But anyway, we're on the E3 anyway. Sorry.
That's fine. Where do we leave off?
We're still talking about E3 and our predictions and whatnot.
All right. So what was that prediction? Was that talking about PSVR or?
Oh, that was a rant, I think. Sorry, RJ.
No, don't worry about that at all, man.
You're more than welcome.
Man. It was talking about the peripherals and things like that, convincing people to buy this stuff, the extra stuff that they needed to get these things as a player base. And because the problem with VR is right now they're not having it. A lot of people ain't having it. It's $400 for a PlayStation VR right now.
That's the cheapest you can get.
And that's the cheapest you can get at $400
for the.
I'm gonna notice $400.
That isn't one of the things that you plug your phone into to make VR out of.
We've even got our one of our developers that we love, Twisted Pixel, coming in with a VR game as well. And I'm thinking, is it just VR? Because I don't think they need to release, unless they're getting dedicated money to make a VR game. They need to be releasing this without a VR-compatible version of this, because you want the player base, regardless of how, even if you had 100% adoption rate of people that have the VR system, it's not the same as just giving it to as many people as possible, you're going to get a better adoption rate from
Twisted Pixel's
the
a
lowest
good
common denominator.
Twisted Pixel is an interesting developer to bring up because their Loco Cycle game that came out on Xbox One was not well reviewed, was not well received, but there was a lot of effort put into the game to be made, and there was some unlocks that you could do in that game that showed off apparently some motion captioning and some concept art for something that they may be working on. We didn't really hear anything about it, and they went silent for a very long time.
Have you seen the trailer for what they're doing at the moment?
Well, then, out of nowhere, I heard that they did a VR game, and then it was releasing. It's a black and white type thing.
Yeah, the guy's pulling stuff out of his head, and
yeah,
a woman called Evelyn. I couldn't get the name. It's one of these
completely out of left field that they release a VR thing, and I'm thinking, oh, I really hope there's something special about this. And from everything that I've seen, there really isn't very much special.
Well, this is what I'm saying, Scott. If it was a standard even horror game, if they just do it in VR, they're not getting the audience, and unless they're getting money to make this, they've already got the money up front to make this for VR. I'm going to be very sad.
Which I almost think that they had to have done, because it doesn't seem like a good move on their part.
No, I agree. It's not.
It almost seems like somebody came to them with a bunch of money and said, I just specifically want you to release a VR game. I'm like, okay, we'll work on this. Because this does not... I mean, if you look at their pedigree and they look at all the things they've done, VR did not seem like the next step that they were going to be going in.
But even at that, this seems very serious in comparison to all the other stuff.
It does. I mean,
they are good with jokes.
It seems like a very different direction for them. And I really hope this was not something... I don't know. I feel like this is a misstep for them. I feel like that they're... If this is all they had and they were hoping to move on from it, I think this is a oh God, I hate to use the word. I think this is a failure, because I think it's going to hurt them that they didn't do something. And I don't want to say mass appeal, but just at least available for anybody on a console or PC to play, and not somebody that had a very expensive rig. By the way, it's not available for PSVR. I don't think.
What? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Let me look this up real quick.
I was just going to say, I think a further discussion once we have more details is probably warranted. But the idea of just, again, like I was saying, lowest common denominator, you want to try and capture as many audience as possible. That's why things like Minecraft and things like that are constantly still coming out on random platforms. Like we've got Minecraft on the Switch, and people are loving it, because it's a proper Minecraft portable. And it's, again, you keep getting more, a different set of audiences as you go into different fields. And if you're able to just go out, break the seal and have everyone being able to play it, you're going to get the best sort of numbers possible. So I think it applies to all games.
Well, that's really wrong. I'm sorry, I'm looking through this and...
Oh, thanks, Scott. Okay, I'll just not talk about it.
No.
I'm only joking.
The name of the game is called Wilson's Heart, and I found it on Wikipedia. So I click on the Wilson's Heart link under the products that Twisted Pixel has developed, and it takes me to apparently an episode of House that was called Wilson's Heart. And that gives me nothing at all to tell me. No, this is even worse. It's only available for Oculus Rift.
Is that the highest price one?
Hopefully we're seeing some sort of Oculus Rift buy-in then, because we got it. If it's just for Oculus, they gotta be having a buy-in.
That's my thinking as well, because it's not that Oculus Rift is the most expensive. It's just the fact that there are two PC VR platforms, Vive and Oculus Rift.
Okay.
So if it's not available for PSVR, it should be available for either of those, but not specifically one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is specifically one. Hey, look, Motel, we got to run, man. I appreciate you calling in and hanging out with us, and we're going to talk to you next week, right?
Not a problem. Yes, I'll be calling next week.
All right.
Enjoy your night.
Take care.
Take care now.
We got to run, everybody. It has come to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for joining us each week in the chat room, as well as everybody who joins us everybody who listens on the stream and on the radio as well. Thanks everybody who grabs us on iTunes and also on YouTube or however you get our show for later use. We really appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're watching us on Twitch, so subscribe there as well. If you're on Steam, join the Steam group. If you're on PS4, join us on our community there. If you're on Xbox One, we got a group there as well. So join that one and play games with us and other listeners. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday. Here is music from a brand new game that released this week called Tokyo 42. See you next Saturday.